Is this goodbye? No, it's not goodbye. Not at all. Explain yourself? I will. There's some people that are saying some pretty crazy things. I've been around for 10 years now. I am totally okay with exposing a lot of things and saying things. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious I will not be friends with any of these people after this. To completely separate myself from these people in this community, which is fine, and I've already been doing it, but I have hundreds of messages and DMs from people, things that people probably would never want to get released.
Go ahead and release it, but I wouldn't believe anything he would put out.
We found after being with each other that her stalkers would come to her a lot from her short form content. These people were schizophrenic and would think that she is talking to them. Whether it was songs she played, the way she looked at the screen, or just the titles of the videos, these people started to feel she was talking to them and come to our house to stalk her. These people thought in their heads they were dating her. They were out of their mind and dangerous. I told her, if we're gonna be serious about this relationship, I need her to stop posting as much and to not farm these people. She agreed and understood that it was a safety concern.
I mean, you dated this girl and she was already doing TikToks like this to begin with, right? So like you knew what you were getting yourself into, and now you're trying to make her change her content. Now, after everything that we know about Miz, I think that it's much more likely that the reason why he did that is because those videos, maybe it did annoy him as her boyfriend. You've got to keep in mind that Miz was also farming content with other girls in real life. And so like really that it's just bullshit. It's a double standard that he had. So it's like you took a girl that makes TikToks and makes short form content, and you bring her into your house and you say you're not allowed to do this anymore. Meanwhile, you're doing the same type of stuff, and Miz has his own stalkers and his own shit too. At this point, I think that especially now that it's been so openly discussed and revealed that he cares a lot about viewership, I think that it's much more likely that the reason why he didn't want her posting that content is because that content would get her a lot of attention. Because it did. It's just, it's bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. None of it even makes any sense.
She agreed that she wouldn't want to hurt anyone else and knew that posting these types of TikToks and posts can mess with us and is something I'm not comfortable with as a guy.
Not comfortable with it as a guy, but you think that she has to be comfortable with you having all these girls on your stream?
We both had to hide the relationship from everyone.
Like, why did you have to? I know why you had to. You're not going to say why, are you? Let's find out if he says why.
I could get in a ton of trouble with OTK and cause a ton of problems.
That's exactly right. We would have been totally okay with it. He could have just signed something, would have been totally fine. It would have been no issue at all. He was more worried about his standing in OTK, and he was more worried about making sure that he didn't look bad and lose money in OTK, and that's the reason why he wanted to keep it private. So it wasn't even about her or about him. It was about money and his position in the org. We would have been like, okay, fine, we're happy for you, Miz. Good job. You just signed this paperwork, and then Emmy also has to sign this paperwork too. It would have been such an easy thing to do. Because do you think that like we really didn't discuss this ever? Literally everything about this is bullshit.
So I lied to all of my old friends, S-Fan included, who lived just next door to me, and everyone in OTK, and that was very hard for me to do. We had a doggy door between our rooms, just so we can hide it from everyone else, including my roommates. We would lock the doors to avoid our roommates finding out. As time went on, they found out, but to most of our friends in the Austin circle, they never officially knew. That stress alone would drive anyone mad, but our love for each other was strong, and we knew we can handle it. In September in 2022, a lot of you guys know, I was canceled by Trainwrecks and others, trying to claim I covered up. It was proven wrong, but that destroyed my mental health. I felt like my brain cracked, and I was never the same since. I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do with my own life. Every day felt like an absolute nightmare. I was losing OTK, my mental health, and all my—
You weren't losing OTK. We put you on suspension, and we invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into legal fees in order to do a third-party investigation to find out whether this happened or not. We invested so much into you in order to make sure that we did you right. That's not true.
Emiru was one of the only people that were there for me. She ditched sponsors to go with me to Japan. She went with me anywhere I needed because she wanted me to be happy. And she knew sometimes I freaked out, I lashed out, but she loved me.
That's a really quick way to just kind of, just kind of gloss over it. I freaked out, I lashed out, yeah. By like being violent and yelling and screaming and breaking stuff and punching holes in the wall, right? Like, that's a lot.
Most of my hair started to fall out, and Emiru started to hurt herself while we were in Japan.
I'm not going to comment on that.
As this time happened, I was a massive wreck, couldn't think straight, and
then you hurt everybody else. See, like, I don't feel sorry for you at all. because you hurt other people in the process. I would totally have absolute sympathy for Miz if you weren't hurting other people and manipulating and taking advantage of other people left and right while you were in this situation. You lose that sympathy whenever you then become an aggressor on top of that. And we see this a lot where people try to say that they were in a bad place. It's like he never really took accountability for this at all until this happened.
And being that Emiru hung out with me all day, we would yell at each other, fight, and argue all the time. Things we never once did. I felt this relationship was taking a huge strain, but I thought it could be fixed over time since things were just so amazing that first year. But as we stayed around longer, I started resenting her a lot more. Emiru has a lot of rabbits. It was her calling when she first moved in. These were a big part of her life. But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water.
Which he lived in the house, by the way. He lived in the house this whole time. So he let this whole thing happen. Like, assuming all this is true.
Sometimes not having clean bedding for weeks. I, along with many others who would come over, would give them what they needed, and I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits. So much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible. And my brother once came over and said, and I quote, "If you ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you." Here is a video up close of Emiru's rabbits. These are small little mites that are inside the rabbit.
It's not her rabbits. You're never going to see a single rabbit in this video.
And she didn't care. She completely neglected these animals. People who came to my house knew that they were neglected. This is an up-close view of the rabbit cage being completely disgusting and neglected. She left them to die. It's disgusting.
If she is neglecting the animals, then why aren't they dying at the new house? If Emiru is the problem and she's neglecting these animals, then why are there no dead rabbits in the new house? And why are there no dead rabbits in the house before this? Why are there no rabbits in the video? This is a video your brother took? When was the video taken?
This is a video from my own brother. I didn't record this.
It's a 15-second video with not even a single, zoom out, contextualized, anything.
In fact, when Maya came over during my cancellation, she actually commented on Emiru's rabbits and said, "These rabbits are completely neglected and this is disgusting." Emiru wouldn't clean the cages and the smell became so bad that we started to have the rabbits just be outside. I told her if that's the case, she's got to make sure she's giving them water because they are her responsibility. Instead, these rabbits were left outside in 100-degree heat with no food or water or anything.
I can't comment on what Maya said.
Most of the time being in cages with no bedding besides poop all over the place. Emmy didn't care. She would sit inside and play League of Legends all day. And what this showed me is that I don't want her to be my children's mother, and I couldn't see myself marrying her.
Which is the reason why you texted her 40 times after this, after she left. And you told multiple other people that you thought that you were gonna get married. You're just lying.
The fights from these times started to get worse. I would constantly want to be farther and farther from her. I would use her for content, but after stream would want to be alone. I didn't know how to break up with her or end things. She was a co-owner of my org, the only person I knew, and the strain of the relationship and hiding the relationship was really taking a toll on me. On top of that, the stalkers were getting worse. One stalker came to my house, and I had to point a gun at him for 30 minutes until the cops came.
This girl had stalkers in Kansas. You invite her to Austin, and then you complain that she has stalkers there too. You're now guilt-tripping her for the thing that you promised her that you would prevent happening. Releasing that story about Emiru's stalker acting like he was the hero when it was actually Bonnie that went out there and confronted the person. So it's just bullshit. Obviously, I bet it was really stressful, but like I think that he's using this again to kind of muddy the waters. He's basically trying to shift a relationship where he was the aggressor and the abuser, at least allegedly, right? By the way, everybody else, keep in mind, everybody else, nobody's backed him up on this. Even his old roommates, his old friends, his old girlfriends, nobody's taking his side.
I would constantly tell her on and off stream that she needs to do more because these stalkers are getting worse. I know I wasn't perfect with my language or tone throughout this entire relationship. I was aggressive at times. In regards to being controlling, I told her many things. I told her to dress older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole.
Why would you tell her to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole whenever you went live and then you told a story that was her private story that wasn't public about stalkers and schizos against her consent?
Stop talking about past relationships. And yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt. I didn't want Emmy to get assaulted, and I wanted to keep her safe. And I know with how my mental was and who I was back then that I didn't do everything right.
I mean, that's like kind of like it's really kind of minimizing it, right? I didn't do everything right.
And I'm sorry. I know I was controlling and I should have just ended the relationship, but I was so confused as a person. And I'm sorry I didn't. The last 9 months of this relationship, things got extremely toxic. I told her to move out. She didn't move out on her own. She still wanted me around at all times. She would get upset if we didn't sleep together or if we weren't around.
Keep in mind that, like, ever since this happened, there have been 2 additional people that have alleged that he assaulted them within less than 24 hours of this stuff coming out.
I wanted to be alone. And that increased our fights. The stalkers continued, and I got even more stressed. They started to take pictures of me whenever I would drive to her house. They knew my every movement. I couldn't take it. Between the rabbits, the stalkers, and the overall ability to handle situations with each other, I knew this wouldn't last, but I didn't know how to get out of the relationship. She did not want to move out. Our fights started to get louder. We were breaking up with each other almost weekly. I was not perfect, and I reflect on those situations poor taste to myself. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Again, the reason why he's using the plushies or he's using the clothes as an example is because you can't prove that, whereas you can with holes in the door or damaged property.
One time did say I was going to during an argument, but Emmy did this as well numerous times. She would constantly say she's going to in arguments. I knew that the relationship wasn't healthy at this point. I knew we had to end it and soon. One day, Emmy posted a very provocative picture, one that she knew I would hate, and she posted it to make me upset. She admitted that she made me upset with it, and we got into a heated argument.
You see the language. She posted it to make me upset, and she admitted that it made me upset. One of them has intent, the other one has acknowledgement.
And I broke up with her. We broke up for about a month, then got back together because we thought we can make it work. We went to get food at BJ's, and then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then. But we got back together soon afterwards. And during those last few months where we were fighting, we were still fighting, but it did feel like the relationship had good progress. We should see what we want, and Emmy had an idea to write down everything we wanted on paper. One day, after staying over Emiru's house, Emiru made me breakfast, and she wrote down everything she wanted. She wrote she wants me to move closer to her. She wrote that she wants me to marry her, and she wants kids with me in the next 5 years. I just handed her back the paper. She began to cry, and I told her, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. I knew we were just beyond the point of toxicity in the relationship, and I was not mentally well. I walked away. That week, I made flights to Japan because I didn't want to sit around and wait to possibly get back together again. I have never talked to her in person since. I have messaged her numerous times wondering why I have been removed from OTK, Discords, and I was very scared because I didn't know what was going on.
All of those decisions had already been made before any of this had come out.
Drunk messaged her love letters, as you saw on stream. But after 10 months, I know we're much better off without each other. This year has been very hard for me, and I'm sure for her. I even went to Japan and drank every single night just to sleep. Going from being with each other for 3 years straight and trauma bonding to be completely alone is such a difficult thing for both of us. I began therapy in February of this year. I'm very happy to say that I feel better than ever, and I've gotten a lot of the stress I've had.
Surely, if you got all the stress that you had and everything, then why were you just at TwitchCon threatening her employees that you would destroy Emiru if she came out with anything about you?
I truly hope nothing but the best for Emmy.
You hope the best for her, but you want to also destroy her? You're lying.
I hate that we're in this situation, and I hope that she can move on. We were in a toxic relationship. I saw that. I have a lot to work on for myself. I've been single for the past 10 months, and I plan to stay that way. If you're wondering if it's scripted, the answer is, of course it is. I wrote it out because I cannot freeball this. This is a very serious situation. I'm going to stand up for myself. I am going to defend myself in these situations, and I believe a lot of the situations today were absolutely exaggerated. I have dozens of photos and videos, calls and messages as well. I have things I will be leaking over the next few days of other people, of other things, but I want to make it very clear. When it comes to Emiru, when she says that I was going to use her rabbits against her, that was never the plan. My plan for myself was very simple. If Emmy were to say something about me, I would say something back. That's it. Can you clarify what, if anything, was said to her team at TwitchCon? I said that if she goes after me, then I will go nuclear. And that is exactly what I said. And that is what's going to happen, because you can't mess with me anymore. I don't have anything to lose. And I will say this proudly. Emiru abused those rabbits.
I've never seen any evidence of that. She spent tens of thousands of dollars on like emergency veterinary care because one of her rabbits crashed out.
I f up a lot, and I'm never going to not admit that. And I realized I need to be alone. I never got kicked out of Austin, Texas. I left myself.
I think that if you just look at who's collaborating with him and who's making content with him, that really tells you like what really happened. Listen to what people do rather than what they say.
I will bluntly say this, and I am very honest. I was, and I still am, but I very much was someone that was massively obsessed with streaming and viewership. It's something that I am envious of others. I am angry at others because of it. It makes me jealous when I see others doing well, and it has made me realize that I am never happy for someone else if they're doing much better than me. You guys know this is true if you watch my old stream. I've always been this way.
It's okay to be envious, and it's okay to be competitive, but whenever you let that envy and competition allow you to be abusive, aggressive, and hostile to other people and actively try to damage them, that's the problem.
I would say the Mizkif in Austin, Texas is disgusting. I hated myself.
He was spam texting her when he lived in LA and threatening to destroy her in LA. It's not like he changed when he went to LA.
I did message her a lot afterwards, primarily for OTK stuff, but there were times where I did want to go back to her. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. I was drunk. I thought I needed to, but yeah, that's it. I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. This is something I think that we went over, and I am glad that it is out there.
He lied to us about the entire Emiru situation to begin with in order to maintain, his position in the company. The things that I have seen and everything that I have been witness to indicates that Miz is a liar. He's lied to OTK multiple times about really big things.
I will be back. I'm not leaving anytime soon.
I'm biased to the truth because I know things that are not public, right? I mean, obviously, and they will be public. They will be.